Good afternoon, everyone. All right. So, good afternoon. My name is Victor Ukok, and I'm taking you on lecture 10. And today we'll be looking more at regular expressions. So, the last class we saw the basics of regular expression, and I remember that I gave some examples of how to use regular expressions, especially using the um, using range and sets. So that was what I was actually doing. I was really dwelling on range and sets. In this lecture, which is the lecture 10, I would go more into regular expressions and um, let's look at the topics we are going to cover today. I'm going to cover today. I'll cover regular expression classes. I'll cover regular expression anchors. I'll cover regular expression word boundaries. I'll cover regular expression quantifiers, and I'll cover sets and range. So sets and range is going to be similar to what I did in the last class. Let's continue. A regular expression class, a character class is a special notation that matches any symbol from a certain set. So we use regular expression classes to actually match symbol from a set. So let's say um, we have a set of string, for example, and then we want to match a particular pattern, but we don't want to literally say we want to match the letters in the pattern, but we want to match maybe a digit after a word, or a space after a digit, or a space before a digit. That's where expression classes comes into play. So a character class, or regular expression character class, it allows you to match any symbol from a certain character set. A character class is also called a character set. So if anywhere I use character class or character set, is actually the same thing. These are regular expression character classes. So we have D, that matches digits from 0 to 9. We have W that match alphabets and digits and underscore. And we also have this slash S, that's backslash S, that matches space, tabs, and new line. Then the rest, so this slash D slash capital D here is just the opposite of this D. So it matches character that is not a digit. But meanwhile, slash S matches character that is not a space character, and then slash W matches a character that is not a word. Then dot matches any character that is not a new line. So it matches any character except a new line. So that's not supposed to be there. So dot matches any character that is not a new line. Let's look at each of those character set or character class. So this slash W character class stands for word character that matches ASCII. It matches ASCII characters. So those ASCII characters may be capital A to Z, or small a to Z, or digits from 0 to 9, or underscores. Then slash W is actually the opposite of W, and it matches any character that is not a word. So let's see an example. If we wrote let phone equals to I am close to your car, for example, and then we match that phone, for example, this is actually going to be the result. So so here we are taking out all the characters, like I am close to your phone. Each of the letters here is what we are taking out. But here we don't really have any non-character symbol or any non-character letter here or alphabet. So let's look at examples on that. Let's let str equals to, so let me put in special character. So I'm close to your phone. Then if I say let r is equal to, then you say you want to match just words, then you want that to be global. So you want to match words and you want that word to be global. So if we do console.log, and this is actually 2023, I think 2022. So what we should actually do is we should have, I would like to do this function L, then we have an argument, then we console.log that argument. So instead of using console.log every time, I just use L. Then in there, I say that want to match string with the regular expression that has just only words. So if we console.log that out, we see I am close to, like we are seeing each letters, right? But if I wanted to match it with non-word characters, so if I did that and run, see that it matches the single quotation mark, and it also matches spaces. So you see that we have spaces here. It also matched those spaces here. So you see that we have that single quotation mark and spaces as what it returns. So here we said that W stands for any character that is between A to Z or 0 to 9 or an underscore. So if there was an underscore here and we used, let's say W, and I say your then underscore phone, it will actually return that underscore. So we see that this returns the underscore here. I'm close to your phone with an underscore. Your phone has with an underscore. It actually returns it. So this is recognized by using this W slash small letter W. So the opposite of this is actually this capital letter W, which is, I just said it is the opposite of this other one, which means it's match any character except a word character. So if I change this back to, you're going to see how that actually runs out. So it still gives us exactly the same result. So I guess if I put a full stop and run it, it's also going to include that full stop. Yeah, so it includes that full stop. So you can use this pattern to search for words. So if I want to search for a group of like 3 words, so I could do W/W/W, for example. So it will pick three words. So it sees that CLO are like 3 letters that don't have any sign in between it. So it actually picks that letter CLOU R and underscore and P and then HON. So this makes sense because you can actually decide to group, like just say, okay, for every word we just want to pick the three letters in that word, for example. So that makes sense. So we can pick characters like that. So we just looked at this example. Then okay, I guess I did okay, I just did this one. So this is what I just did here. So you can pick three letters. Then let's look at digits. So if we just want to match only digits, you use the slash D to match only single digits, or any character that's from 0 to 9. So this other one, this slash D in capital letter, matches any character that is not a digit. Let's look at an example. So if we say let phone number should be equals to this, like +1 0 4 0 8 5 5 5 0 1 0 5, and we want to extract only the numbers from here. So what you do is you just write phone and you say it should match digits globally. So if you match digits globally, you would see that it returns all the digits that are in this string. So even if there were word characters in this string, it's just going to ignore them and just only return the digits. Then of course, if you do slash with a capital D here, it's going to return the symbols here, which are the plus, the minus sign, or I think you call it hyphen. Then it will return these brackets. So we can check out an example. Let's see how that works. I say my phone number is 0012345567 For example, I want to match only digits. So this is what I can do. Say match digits globally in this particular string. So if I do that, we see 08012345678. Of course, we can join that. We can join our result. So if we say dot join here, and we said we want to join, we want to join by that criteria. So if we run that, we see that it just returns only the phone number without any hyphen and without any of these other strings. So so if you want to match non-digits characters, you just use this capital D like that. So you're telling it should only return my phone number is, then it should return the hyphens. And why it's showing like this is because we are actually joining the whole thing. So if we don't join it, it's going to show us an array instead. My phone number is, it joins that in that way. So let's continue. So we've seen this example. We've also seen this example. Okay. So, okay, this is the one with the join actually. So then let's continue from there. So we see /s character set. So this particular kind of character set matches a single white space symbol, such as, yeah, a space is still white space, then a tab or a new line. So whether you have space, tab, or new line on your string, for example, you can actually use this to match that. Then we see that this other character set / then capital S match any character that's not a white space. So it could be a digit, um it could be an alphabet. So it would match it. Let's see an example of that. So using /s here, so we say that what we are checking for now is we're checking for any string that has a letter, a space, and a digit. So for example, here we see that we have this letter here, we have space here, and we have a digit. The same thing here, we have W here, a letter, we have we have space here, and then we have this digit. So running this will actually give you this result. So if I had maybe a long string with this included in the string, then this is what I'm searching for in that whole string. So that's what it's going to return to me. Then let's look at this example. So I'm saying, okay, it's almost the same thing. So I'm saying match a non-string in a non-space tab or new line character with a space tab or new line character and a non-space tab or new line character. So running it with this particular input as a string would give me this result. So with that said, let's continue. So we have the dot character notation. So the dot character is a special character class that matches any character except a new line. But let's see how that works. So we say E, for example, we say the regular expression is E.6. So we are saying E, then any character here that is not a space or new line or tab, then before 6. So if we have ES6, EW6, ES with small letter 6, EW with small letter 6, then this is actually going to be the result, because we are saying it has to be with E in the beginning and 6 at the end. And in the middle, we are actually going to have any letter or digit, but it doesn't have to actually be a space or a new line or tab. That's how that works. So let's see an example of that. So I use ES6 syntax. If I do that, I use ES6 syntax, and then I say it has to start with E. It has anything here, and then we can now say 6. It has to end with a 6, or we can say a digit. If we run that, we are going to see here 6 as a result. Even if I write, so I could also match this with other things. So you use ES5, for example. So if I have those two sentences in that string, you see that we have ES6 and ES5 returned because it actually matches this pattern. So if I remove this G, it's only just going to match one pattern. I remember that I explained the use of G. So G means even if it's like it should search the whole string for that pattern, it shouldn't end the search or stop the search when it sees a first match for that particular pattern. But let's continue from there. So we have that match. Okay. Then we are going to look at regular expression anchor tags. So these anchor tags are actually two. So you have that the anchor tag is used to match position before or after characters. So we use the caret anchor sign to match the beginning of a text. So we can say we want this text, or we want characters in this text that actually begin with a particular letter. Or you can say they have to begin with a particular letter, or they have to begin with a digit, or they have to begin with a word, for example, or a letter. So we use this to actually match the beginning what a word should begin with. Then we use the dollar sign to match the end of a text. So we say that okay, this text should end with this particular maybe set of letters. Let's see how that plays out. So if we test JavaScript and we are checking if JavaScript as a set of letters starts with J. So this returns true because JavaScript actually starts with J, but it will return false if if we try to test if JavaScript starts with S. Then of course, when we want to test what it ends with, for example, so we can say the same JavaScript and we check if it starts with T. Of course, if we test that we are asking if it starts with T, yes, this would actually give us true. But I know this is supposed to be something else. Maybe okay, this is still correct. So we are checking if this ends with T. So we are checking if JavaScript ends with T here, and yeah, this is true. But if we check when we write JavaScripts, if we are checking if these JavaScripts end with T, it will actually give us a false. Let's see how that works. So let me comment that. So if I say let str equals to I use JavaScript and Java. For example, I write JavaScript. Then of course we want to test. So you say let the regular expression equals to okay, sorry. Since it's a regular expression, we'll use that sign. So we want to test if it starts with J. Of course, we want to check if it starts with J. So if we say RA dot match the string, test the string. So this, sorry, test. So if we test this string now, so we are going to get a true. Sorry. Okay, so I guess this has to be the first thing. Okay, so we are checking, when we use that, we are checking if this whole string starts with J. So if we try to test it with something else, maybe we say okay, like what we just did, we said I use JavaScript and this starts with I here instead of J, so it will actually give you a false. But if you want to test if this starts with a J, for example, you're going to use this notation. So if we want to test too, if this set of string ends with S, so we are going to use that dollar sign there. We say S, or okay, in this case it's A. So we would say A and a dollar sign. Okay, so we see that gives us true, because it's true that we are ending this set of text, like the last letter here is A. Let's continue. So we have word boundaries in regular expression, JavaScript regular expressions. So we have word boundary. So the word boundary character matches a position that is called a word boundary. So word boundary, let's look at the criteria before we can actually say we can call a particular word from maybe the beginning and end. We can say, okay, this is the word boundary for this particular word. So before the first character in a string, if the first character is a word character, after the last character in a string, if the last character is a word character, and between two characters in a string, if one is a word character and the other is not. Let me explain that. So if I have something like JavaScript, comma Java, from this J down to this T is a word boundary. Now, this comma doesn't have anything to do with the word boundary. This comma and this space doesn't have anything to do with the word boundary. The word boundary for this Java starts from J and ends after this A. So this is a word boundary on its own. Like from this J like this is a word boundary on its own. And then this is a word boundary on its own. Remember we said that before the first character of a string, if the first character of a string is a word character, so it starts here. If the first character of a string is a word character, so it starts from here. Then you're now saying the last character, if the last character or if the last character is a word character, we are saying so this is the last character. If this last character is a word character, then definitely this is the word boundary for this particular word. So the word boundary for JavaScript starts from J and ends at T. So it doesn't end at comma. That's something worthy of taking note of. Then between two characters in a string, if one is a word character and the other is not. So between here, so this is a word character. This J is a word character. But before this J, this space here is not a word character. This comma here is not a word character. So your word boundary starts from before this J and ends at A. So that's how word boundaries work. Then let's look at examples. So if we check, maybe we put in hello JS script, and then we say we are matching where the word boundary starts as J and ends, like starts before J and ends after S. So we'll see a null. Why is it null? Because we have set the boundary that it has to. We are telling JavaScript that what we need is just J and S, and then it should not be followed by another word, and it should not come after any word. Maybe you have a word here before JS or you have a word after JS. No, that it has to literally be JS, no other thing. So here we have JS, but we have script after it. So this doesn't match. But yeah, but if we just do the normal without adding a word boundary, we say JS, it should match JS. We have that it's not going to check for the word boundary, it's just going to check if there is any match, and then it's going to return it. But here it's going to, it checks, it sees this match, but the word boundary doesn't correspond with what we need. But if we try that out with this set of string that has hello JS script and then it has JS at the end, and we are matching this word boundary, it will return that word here, or it will return that set of letters. So it will say what is returning here is this particular JS, which is what we are looking for. Okay, so I already did this here. So this example is similar to this one, this particular example, where you have hello, JS, and then you're matching JS. So you get this output. So I hope that is clear. So let's continue. So we are going to talk about quantifiers. So at this time, let's look at quantifiers. So quantifiers match a number of instances of a character group or character class in a string. Let's look at how that works. So let's look at the count quantifier. So we are saying a number in the curly braces, which is n. So n can be any number. Specify how many characters or character sets you want to match. I wanted to put character sets here. So for example, you have ECMAScript here as string, and then you have 2020. So if you want to match 2020, for example, there are two ways of doing it. So you can type d/d/ like /d, 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 or you can simply just use this notation. So you say, so this is the same thing as saying I want to match any digits, any set of 4 digits. So as far as you have 2020 here, so 2020 corresponds with having 4 digits. So if you match that, you have an output of 2020. I said it here that this D with this bracket of 4 is the same thing as saying /d/d/d/d/d. So these are actually the same, but of course this is a shorter notation. So what if you wanted to match phone numbers that are 11? So instead of writing /d 11 times, you just write /d and you put in 11 here. So that's going to match digits that are 11 in this string. If there is any digits that is 11, that's, for example, if you have a string that has 11 digits, 11 consecutive digits, and you want to match those digits, you just put D11 here, and that would match it out for you. Then we have range quantifiers. A range quantifier matches a character or character class from n to m. So n is, okay, I said n saves here as your lower limit or your lower boundary, while m here serves as your upper limit or your upper boundary. So you can say, so if you said a range where n is 2 and m is 5. So what you're trying to say in that case is you want to match a range where, okay, let's say if we are using digits, so where the digits is, let's say the digit is up to 2 and the digit is not more than 5. For example, if I put n as 2 and m as 5, so the digit has to be at least 2, but it doesn't have to be more than 5. So that's what it means here. So if we look at this example here, so we are saying we are matching digits where the digits should at least be 2, or the digits should be less than 4, less than or equal to 4. And we are testing it with this particular string. What the result we are going to get is 11. So 11 as a digit, because 11 match this D2. And then we are saying 2020. These 2020 they are actually 4 digits. That's why it's being returned here. So if not, what would have had like if we put 2 and we put 3, for example, that will return 202 instead of 2020 here. So that's how you use range quantifiers here in JavaScript regular expressions. So you can specify range. Let me do that here. So if I say Java, so if I say /w, I want to match words where the first word has to, or the word has to be at least 4 letters long, and then it may be JavaScript JavaScript 80. Then I maybe put 10 here. So I want to match that out. String dot match. So we see Java and we see JavaScript. So let me try this. If I put 8 there, so it actually cuts out a part of JavaScript because we are saying it has to be like if it's up to 8 letters, then we can match it. But let's take for example, I wrote JAV and I wrote Java. So it's actually going to return Java because JAV is not up to 4 letters. So it doesn't meet that criteria to be shown out. So that's how JavaScript, that's how regular expression range quantifiers work. So let's look at sets and range. So note there is range quantifiers and there is range. So range quantifiers are like they are types, they are a type of quantifier. So you have count quantifier and you have range quantifier and you have sets and range. So let's look at what a set is. So the square brackets search for any character in a set. So you use sets to search for particular characters. So let's say I want maybe in between a word, I want to search where the character can be either A, E, I, O, or U. I can use this set to actually search for that character. So I did this in the last class in which I did something like uh rats fat. Okay, let me remove the S. So I did that and then I said this has to be maybe C R, let me leave F and then we put 80 at the end. So we are looking we are looking for this match in this string where the first letter is either C or R. And of course, this C is not going to match now because we are actually we've not ignored the case. So if I put that idea, that's it would match it now. So we see that it returns cat and rat because that is the only um, those are the only set of characters that match having C or R before 80. But fat doesn't match that criteria, so that's why it's not actually sent back. So I hope that is clear. So that's how sets work. So this notation here, where you have maybe letters here or maybe digits here, is called a set. So this is an example of a set. So if you say like how cat, rat, bat, mouse became Halloween animals, then you say where you have C where the first letters have to be C, B, or R, and then followed by an A and followed by T and followed by S. So of course, if you try to match that, you're going to see that you're going to have this particular um, result. So it's going to match cats, rats, and bats because they actually start with C, B, R, and they have ATS as letters at their end. So that's how you use sets. I know I explained that in our last class. So then let's talk about range. So range also uses square brackets, but you don't list out the characters you want in a range. Instead, you list out the range of characters you want. So this the first, so you see that you separate the range with this dash or minus sign. So you're saying it has to start from A and it has to end at Z. So any character between A to Z is what you want to match for. Or you want to match for characters between 0 and 9. So, so if you wrote this range, like you want to match A to Z or 0 to 9 with an or an underscore, is the same thing as you just writing /W. But the reason why you might want to use the range is if you have a set of, maybe I want to match from A to W, for example, anything, any character that is either A or B or C, like that till W, and that's when I'll actually need this. But if you use the word character class, then you're trying to say you want to match everything from A to Z or from 0 to 9, or it has an underscore. Then we see that 0 to 9 still means is the same thing as writing /D. But the reason why you might want to use this is you might want to match ranges that are not actually 0 to 9. You might want to match maybe 1 to 5 or 2 to 8. So as the case may be, you use /D to represent that. So of course, if we try that in this example, you say it has to be from, let's say A to Z, then definitely to, or let me say A to F. Sorry, I mistakenly wrote that. So if I say A to F, so of course it would show, okay, so it's not picking rat because rat is not part of this particular range. So if I said A to S, for example, or A to R, then that is actually going to bring out the 2. And it's going to bring it out as an array. So you can do whatever I want to do with this particular array. Okay. So we just have to look at an example of that range. So let me go live and, or let me show you an example of that. So ranges example would be you having string like this: AATS, BATS, CATS, DSTA, DATS, and RATS, for example. Now, if I want to get all, like AATS, BATS, and all, anyone that has ATS after it, I can match it like this. Say globally check for characters that starts with A, B, or C till Z, and then after that the other characters should be A, T, S. So I can match that like this. So I hope that is clear. So I hope that is clear. So so with that, we've wrapped up this class for today. So thank you for attending it. So I hope to see you next class. So see you in the next class. Bye bye.